Everybody, welcome to another episode of Card Talk, a podcast where we spend a little bit of time talking about cards from Lord of the Rings card game. I'm your host, Dave Walsh, and in this episode, we do not have Grant with us, who's usually just along for the ride. In this episode, we are going to be doing a playthrough, Lost in Mirkwood, and it is the second scenario in the box, Wilds of Romanion. And in this scenario, we find ourselves in Mirkwood trying to help the woodmen, and unfortunately we're lost because of all the crazy things that happen in Mirkwood. It's kind of reminiscent for me of that part in the book where the dwarves are going through Mirkwood and they keep stumbling upon kind of the evening parties of the Elven King of Mirkwood, and it just kind of goes from there. And for this scenario, I will be using my Slippery Silvan deck. I'm trying to make a one-deck run. I'm trying to use the same deck to beat all 100 or plus scenarios, and so this is the next stage here. I also decided that I could do these a little bit out of order, or a lot of bit out of order. It doesn't really matter as long as I am able to do it. And I kind of like the new cycle, the Arid Mithrin cycle. It's really awesome because it uses cards from the core set. You can see over here that there's the Hummer Horns and the Necromancer's Pass. So we're using Spiders of Mirkwood and Dolguldur Orcs as part of the encounter card setup here, encounter deck setup. Now, one of the things that this requires, doing a one-deck run, is to make sure that I play everything correctly, or as correctly as possible. And if you see any game invalidating things that happen, let me know, and I'll try to replay it. And so, because I want the run to be legit. I don't want it to be like, oh, well, I forgot to do this and I forgot to do that. So playing solo, I've learned, is also a little bit easier in some respects because I don't have to worry about strange engagements and things like that across the table. It's also easier to record live. I like to record live. So that's it. So I'm using, for this deck, I'm using Slippery Silvan deck. The link will be posted in the description. And for the Slippery Silvan deck, we use Celeborn, Galadriel, and Thranduil. It's kind of funny that we're using Thranduil in a Lost in Mirkwood scenario. And we can go. So I'm going to try to do this in the correct order. So before we do any setup, we have to draw our cards. The whole point of that is that you want to draw your cards regardless of knowing what the scenario is. And so I have played this scenario a few times, so I kind of know what's going on, but it doesn't change how I'm playing my deck, at least right now. When you play this deck, you want to make sure you have one of those resource generators or those resource things, like Steward of Gondor is good. Nenya is kind of a resource smoothing, and then Olorien is a resource it's not a generator, but it's also resource smoothing because it reduces the cost. So you want to see one of those things. Elven King kind of helps the mechanic of these things sliding in and out of the deck. And if I don't like these 6 cards, I can take a mulligan. Let's see, Galleon, Orphan, Nath Guide, Sword Thane, Fane Voices, Sylvan Tracker. So I didn't get any of the ones that I wanted. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what allies I start with. I mean, I guess in certain scenarios it does, but for this scenario, I'm not looking for an ally, or normally I'm not looking for allies. I'm really just looking for one of those 3 attachments. And so, let's see. So I get Island Amid Perils, Olorien, Rumil, Faint Voices, Galadrim Minstrel, and Haldir. So I did get Olorien, so that's nice. Okay. So I will put my resources down. So I have 1 on Galadriel, 1 on Celeborn, and 1 on Thranduil. And now we start the setup of this. It says, set the Spiders of Mirkwood and Dol Guldur orcs out of play. So that's these two. So you see Spiders of Mirkwood and Dol Guldur orcs. That has the Hummerhorns in it. The Dol Guldur orcs has like the Beastmaster and Necromancer's Reach, so it has some of those things that we really don't like to see. But this is a mechanic that I actually really like. There's a stage there's a scenario in the previous cycle that uses this, like shuffle certain things in to make sure that you get the flavor of where you are. So the encounter deck is going to change. Okay. Then the first takes control of Haldan. Now I did find that there was a little bit of a confusion here. Haldan is from the first one, and the symbol doesn't have any of the symbols that were on the quest card. So that's but you have to pull Haldan from the first scenario. Okay, and then adds searching for a way out to the staging area. So this is how we're doing. So we're lost in Mirkwood, and this is how we're going to end up exploring. Okay, and then I add 1 Force Spider to the staging area, and then I shuffle the encounter deck. So I'm going to shuffle these up. And you'll notice that has an engagement cost of 25. Let's see here. So I shuffle these up. Okay. Now, now I always put the encounter card with the yellow side face up. That way when I draw a card, because I draw like this, it'll be facing the right way. So I'm super dorky like that I have to worry about this. Okay. And so that completes quest card 1A, and now I flip it over to 1B. And it says each player's threat cannot be reduced by player card effects. So that means Galadriel can't reduce my threat. I can still draw the card, but I can't reduce my threat by it. And then after I engage an enemy, I have to raise my threat also. So my starting threat is 29 because Celeborn's 11, Galadriel is 9, and Thranduil is 9. And then I have my round counter here, so it's round 1. I have my counters and dice. I use dice as counters, so that's good. Okay, so now is time to get going. So now, the other thing that I wanted to say about this scenario is that the movement to the next quest isn't readily obvious. Or not the next quest, the next stage of the quest. So if you notice here, there's no condition that says when you get past this quest, there's 0 quest points in the quest point box, and there's no said move on to the next stage or whatever. And so I think in this quest there are at least 3 objective locations that you have to get to in order to make your way through the quest. And so that's how it's going to work, or at least in my playthroughs. I didn't come across any more than 3, but we'll find out. Okay, so I did play this a couple of times before making this video. Okay, so I'm going to draw. Okay, so right off the rip, I got Nenya. Okay, so I'm going to put Nenya right onto Galadriel. I'm going to pay the 1 for it, and then I'm going to pay 1 for Olorien and put Olorien onto Celeborn. Now, it doesn't matter where you put Olorien. The only reason why it would matter is if there was an encounter card that says do damage to somebody with an attachment, or if there was attachment-specific encounter cards. There may be some of that in this. I haven't played it enough to know or remember what the heck is going on, but we can do that. Okay, so I'm going to exhaust Olorien to then put the Galadrim Weaver into play. And then I can draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have the Steward, the Elven King, Galleon, Faint Voice. So the only event that I drew was Faint Voices. So I'll put Faint Voices in my hand, and then I will reshuffle the cards into my deck. Now, Nenya, I've learned as I've been playing this, is probably the best of the 3 resource accelerators to get in the beginning. Not for the lore, which is good. Nenya gives Galadriel the lore resource icon, but the reason why it's really good is because it allows her to commit to the quest or to add her willpower to something, and you can do that after you've committed to the quest and you've staged something. So it's a way of fiddling around. There's an action window in between the staging step and the placing of the progress. So it allows you to kind of quest in a variable sense here. Okay. So I do have some stuff. So Island Amid Perils isn't going to be useful right now. It's not going to be useful because I can't lower my threat. So I'm going to quest with the Minstrel, who doesn't exhaust because of Galadriel, and I'm going to quest with this guy for 3. Now I'm going to have to do something with this Forest Spider, but I can defend, and I can attack, and I can do stuff. Okay, so we'll see. Okay, so there's 3. I'm going to stage now. And so this is a treachery. When revealed, until the end of phase, each non-objective location in the staging area gets +1/+2 instead. So there's no objective locations. And it says if is less than the number of players in the game, gain surge. So I don't have any objective locations. I don't have any locations. So it's definitely surges. Okay, so here's another treachery. When revealed, each player discards each resource from each of his heroes' resource pools and raises threat by 1 for each resource. If no resources were discarded this way, swarm of bats gain surge. So I don't have any resources either, so that's good, but it still surges. So I've surged 3 times now, or 2 times. Oh, and now I get a location. It says Dark Black Woods. While Dark Black Woods is in the staging area, no more than 1 progress can be placed on each location in the staging area. So you can't use Asphaleth. So I'm going to travel here. Okay, I'll put my active location right next to my box here. And it says to travel I have to discard the top card, and then if it's an enemy I have to put it in the staging area. So I didn't exhaust an enemy, and now I have to engage this guy. Okay. Oh, so there was let me resolve questing. There wasn't anything to quest. I won't go back in time, but there wasn't any I didn't quest successfully, I didn't quest unsuccessfully. I quested for 5. There was 5 out there. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, but wait. So, because of the the vastness of Mirkwood, each location gets a +1 threat. Okay. So, I actually lose 1. I have to gain 1. Okay. So normally I would have used Galadriel, but I'm not going to because it's go back in time and do all that stuff. But I'm going to travel there. I did do this, so now this guy's going to engage with me. I'm going to deal a shadow card, and now with this thing, this gets a +1 because it just engaged, but I can still defend with Thranduil. Okay. So I'm going to defend with Thranduil. By defending with Thranduil, let's see. It says attacking enemy makes an additional attack against you after this turn. Okay. So additional attack. So now I won't be able to kill it anyways. So I am actually going to use Feigned Voices to bring this back into my hand and make this not go off. Okay. Okay, so then this is good to see an objective location here. Okay, so this doesn't go off, but I'm going to attack this guy for 3. Has 1 defense, so I will do 2 damage to it. Now, before the end of the round, I'm going to use Galadriel to draw a card. Okay, so that cancels the Shadow Fact. That's quicker than Sight. Remember, I can't lower my threat. Okay, then I draw a card. The Steward. Okay, so this means that I'm feeling really good about myself. Okay, so I'm going to pay 2. I'm going to put the Steward of Gondor onto Thranduil. I'm going to exhaust Thranduil, or I'm going to exhaust the Steward of Gondor now to put 2 resources there. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did last round. I'm going to use 1 resource to bring out the Minstrel, and then I'm going to find, hopefully, some sort of something here in the first. Now, I only drew 1 event, which is funny because there's a bunch of events in this. I think there's 18 events in this hand. So I'm going to do Island Amid Perils. So it looks like next round I'll be able to play Haldir or Rumil and then go from there. But I'm going to quest. I'm going to quest for 5. There's nothing in the staging area. Okay. So this says each player discards each resource from each hero's resource pools and raises threat by 1 for each resource. Okay, so I have to discard this. So that's actually not bad, so I'm going to raise my threat by 2. The reason why that's not bad is because with the Steward of Gondor out there, I could have raised my threat by a bunch. So it's good timing for that. I'm not sure how many copies of Swarm of Bats there are, but it's good. So here's what I did. So I did 3. I defeated this stage, and then I did 2 here. So I did 2 on the quest. Now, there's no quest points for this stage. Okay? It says, oh, look, I forgot to increase my threat when I engage this guy. So I'm going to increase my threat by 1 retroactively. Okay, so now I'm going to discard. And then it says to put the topmost objective location into the encounter, into play. So I assume you put it into play in the staging area. Okay. And now this is a guarded by a location. So now the guarded means I discard cards until I pull a location to guard that thing. So there's for Spider. Okay, so there's that dark black woods. That was the location we just had. And then it says, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Each player discards the top card of the encounter. So, here's the thing. So, this is the location that's guarding it. The only way that I can release the overgrown overgrown path location is I have to travel here, and so the overgrown path stays behind here. I haven't traveled to the overgrown path. I have just moved the guarded location. The location guarding it is the thing. So this is what I have to travel through in order to get through the overgrown path. Okay, so we have to do something with this guy. Okay, so I'm going to give it a shadow card. Now I don't have anything to bring in with Thranduil's ability, so I will defend with Thranduil. No shadow effect. Okay, Thranduil doesn't take any damage. And then I'll use Haldan to kill the spider. Okay. So one of the things that I love about this, the Arid Mithrin cycle, or at least these couple of scenarios in the box, is that they use cards that we're used to. The fact that we're used to these cards is awesome, because I feel confident that I know how these cards work and I don't have to read all the mechanics. I pause all the time to keep reading and making sure that I'm doing everything right. So it becomes a pain in the neck to kind of do stuff, but when I see an old card, I feel like, oh, okay, I know how to deal with this. And I think that was kind of the intent that the designers had. Okay, so now before the end of the turn, I'm going to exhaust Galadriel. I can't lower my threat, but I get to draw a card. So there's the Greenwood Archer. Okay, so now I'm going to ready everybody. And raise my threat. Raise my round. Give everybody resource. Okay, now I'm going to draw a card. Okay, so normally the Greenwood Archer is good to play using Thranduil's ability. Okay, so let's see. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna play the 1, and bring out the Weaver. And I'm gonna take the Faint Voices and put it back in my hand, or put it in the pile. Now I like the Weaver. I wish there was a way I could control her a little bit more in terms of bringing something back instead of into my deck. But nonetheless, I now have received my Faint Voices again, or not received it, but I'm able to use it again, and that's good. I guess if I wanted to reuse those events, I could use the records, like the Tome of Atanatar, the Scroll of Isildur, and things like that. But those are expensive, especially when you're using 2-sphere deck. So, anyways. So this guy doesn't doesn't exhaust a quest. So I think now is the time. So this guy doesn't exhaust, this guy doesn't exhaust. So this is 2, 4, 5. I'm going to quest for 8. There's nothing out here, so I'm going to do this. Okay, look at that. Okay, so this is a bare hilltop, so this comes out. Okay, and now I have to guard this thing with an enemy. So that's not. Okay, so there's an enemy. Everything that I know about this guy is it's not exciting to deal with, because he makes an additional attack or he attacks you as soon as he engages with you. So taking that is not a lot of fun. But there's 3, and I did 8. So this is 3. This goes here. This goes back into the staging area. Guarded objectives or guarded cards go back into the staging area to do that. Okay, and then now I discard cards. Let's see, there's 3, 6. So I discard 2 cards because I quested for 2, 4, 5, 8. So I discard 2 cards, and I did not draw an objective attachment or an objective location, so I don't have to go through my discard pile to find one. Okay, so I am going to travel here. Now I'm doing this for a specific reason, because the travel enforced effect here allows me to move on to the next stage. Okay, and I need to be able to lower my threat, or else things are going to start engaging me. So the travel effect here is, and I really love this idea of a location guarding a location, because it's like you have to get through one location to get to the next location, and that is a lot of fun to me. And it also means that you have to go through something twice, and I like that mechanic. And so a location guarding a location, I think, is really cool and thematic and really kind of puts me in the right mind frame. So it says, shuffle the encounter discard pile, which is this one, into the encounter deck. Okay. So travel effects happen. So I'm going to shuffle this up. And then it says, assigns X damage among characters he controls, where X is the card's threat. So this is, so yellow side up. So let's hope for a treachery. Okay, so there's a treachery right there. So there's no, I don't do any damage. Okay, and it says, after the players travel here, advance to the next stage A, if possible. So the next means the higher number. So I'm on stage 1, so the next, so it's not go back to 1A, it's the next A. So the next A is going to be 2A. And it says, shuffle the Spiders of Mirkwood encounter deck into the encounter deck. Oh, encounter set. Then reveal 1 encounter card per player. Okay, so Spiders of Mirkwood is this one. And now it says, shuffle the Spiders of Mirkwood, which I did, reveal 1 encounter card. So there's the Twilight Hall. Now this one is wild. This Twilight Hall gets gets resources when you explore forest locations. And the resources buff this, so it really makes it harder to do stuff. You can't travel there unless you've already traveled through another thing. So the mechanic there, again, it's like you have to chain your way through the forest, and it's totally wild. So then I'm going to go 2A to 2B, and it says the first spider revealed each quest phase gains surge. And so when a spider enemy attacks and damages character, that character cannot ready until the end of turn. Okay, so the spiders are now getting buffed. Okay. So I don't have to engage this guy yet. I kind of want to build up my board state before I start taking on big bad guys. So I'm going to use Galadriel. I'm going to lower my threat by 1. I'm going to draw a card. And so there's the Galadon Archer. And so with the Galadon Archer in play, I am now going to, I'm not engaging anything. Okay, I'm going to play the Galadon Archer for, I guess I should use a Lorien, and I don't need a resource match, so I'm going to do 1, and so that means I can do 1 damage to this guy. Now at one point I used the Galadon Archer to soften up the Hill Troll. Keep bringing him in and out of play, and in and out of play, and in and out of play. But I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, so now next round. So I'm going to ready... sorry, not next round. The end of this round. I'm actually not going to ready this, because this is just going to get exhausted here. So now I go up. Everything gets resources. I get 3 more onto Thranduil. Okay, so I get another Island Amid Perils. This is funny because Island Amid Perils, I have all 3 copies of Island Amid Perils in my hand. Okay. So, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to use Galadriel's ability to see if I can get another card here that I could play. Okay, so I get Olorien, which is I can't play. So if I get cards I can't play, I put them in the back of my deck. I put them in the back of my hand. Okay, and so now it's going to seem weird, but here's what I'm going to do: is I'm going to use Olorien. I'm going to play 1. I'm going to bring the Greenwood Archer. Now the Greenwood Archer allows me to ready a hero, which I can use then to ready Galadriel. Okay, so hopefully this goes okay. So now I can quest. So like this doesn't exhaust a quest because I can, because it just came out this round. So I'm going to use this. So this is 1, 2, 3. This gets a bonus because of colorborn. So there's 3, and 3 is 6. And then if I need to, I will use Thranduil. Okay. So there's Mountains of Mirkwood, back from the Spiders of Mirkwood. And again, I know what that is. In order to travel, you have to reveal the next card in the encounter deck, but you get to look for a card. So that's 2, 4, 7, and I quested for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I am going to exhaust Galadriel and Nenya to right, what am I going to do? Oh, to add 4 to my questing. I'm going to boost up the Galadrim Weaver. So that means that I did 10. So that's 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get out a quest dice here. So that's 3 progress on the Overgrown Path. Okay, so I'm going to engage this guy. And it says, after engages you, it makes an immediate attack. Okay. So I can't play Feigned Voices on it because this is the engagement phase. The engagement phase is not part of, or the encounter phase is not part of the combat phase. So this guy has to take thing. And so now we're going to defend 4 here. But I can cancel a shadow effect if I need to. I can pull something back in my hand. And I'm probably going to if this is particularly nasty. So it says, oh, I forgot to declare who's going to attack it, or who's going to defend it. So Thranduil will defend it. Okay, if Thranduil's going to defend it, okay, so it says, attacking enemy gets +1. If this text destroys a character, discard an ally you control. So it doesn't destroy a character, but I'm also then going to play this and bring the Weaver back up into my hand. Okay, so that cancels that. And now I have to take 1 damage, or I don't have to take it. Thranduil has to take it. So Thranduil takes 1 damage. Okay, now that was the encounter phase. That wasn't even the combat phase. So now we progress to the combat phase. So I'm going to deal it a shadow card. Okay. Now, this guy can't ready because of this, right? Character cannot ready until the end, so it doesn't matter if I have a way to ready this guy. Okay, and nothing else can really take the damage. So I'm going to use Feigned Voices. I'm going to pull the Weaver back into my hand. That nullifies this attack. Oh, look, a Goliath spawn, which is nice because shadow effect is wild there. Okay, and now I can start the Rumil chain. Rumil, I can bring out 4 for Rumil here during the combat phase. Rumil does damage equal to the number of ranged characters in play when you play them. So I have 3, so this does 1 damage. So all I need to do now is 1 more damage, and I can kill it. So it has 3 defense, so I'm actually going to just attack with these 2 guys. So this guy dies, and this goes back up in the staging area. Okay, so now we're going to ready, Haldan here hasn't done much, but that's okay. Okay, so this is the end of the round here. We ready everything. And now we draw. And I put 1, 3. And I have 2 resources on Galadriel. And now we have to figure out what we're going to play. Okay, I'll play the Weaver again. When I play the Weaver, that means the Feigned Voices goes back in my hand. So the only attachment that I really need to see is the Elven King, and that's a nice one to have, but I don't have to have it. Okay. And then I'm going to play Olorien and spend 1. Okay, so now I get to look at the top 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I get to see what kind of events I have. The only event I get is a Test of Will, but that's a good one to have. I like being able to cancel stuff. Okay, Test of Will goes in my hand. So I have 4 resources out here because I'm going to want to play Haldir. Not Haldan. Okay. So 2, 4, 7. And Rumil is a good quester, so that's 9. I'm going to leave Haldan to attack, so that's 9. There's 4 in the staging area. Okay, there's Mountains of Mirkwood. Again, it's a bad travel effect, but nonetheless I can still do it. So how much did I say? I said 2, 4, 6, 9, 2, 4, 6, 7. So this goes into my victory display. I'll put my victory display over here. Okay. Then I get to discard 2 cards. And I don't have any objective locations in there to put into play. So now I am going to play I'm going to do Mountains of Mirkwood. I'm going to travel there. Okay. Travel the Mountains of Mirkwood. By doing that, I'm going to put a card in the staging area. Oh, look, I did a forest, so because I did a forest, I can do this. Okay. And actually, yeah, well, I've already committed to that. But it would be really nice to get rid of this Twilight Hall. But I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to have to quest for a boatload here in a minute. Okay. Now, there's nothing to engage, but I'm going to play Island Amid Perils to bring Rumil back into my hand. Rumil lowers my threat by 4. And then I'm going to spend 4 to put Haldir into play. Okay. So Haldir is good to have out. Okay. Now I'm going to exhaust Galadriel, lower my threat by 1. And I draw a Steward. Again, Steward I'll put in the back. If I have to discard an attachment, I know where to go. Okay. I will ready everybody. Okay. Ready. And then I will do this. Draw a card at the beginning of turn. Sword Thane. Sword Thane is nice for Legolas. I like having him on Legolas. But it may make sense to put Sword Thane onto Haldir, though, as well. But I like it on Legolas because Sword Thane, then we have tactics resources. Maybe on Rumel, but Rumel I like bringing in out of my hand. So Sword Thane on Haldir, Sword Thane on Rumel. I think at some point it just becomes great to have an extra resource being generated per round. Let's see. It could also go on Haldan, because it all just has to go on a unique ally belonging to any sphere. Haldan does not belong to any sphere. He belongs to no sphere, and so that means you can't put it on Haldan. Okay, so I'm going to hold on to Sword Thane, but I'm going to play the Minstrel. I'm going to do Olorien. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to play the Minstrel. I just have a feeling that I'm not going to want to play the Minstrel this time around. Because I want to keep the 1 because I have a Test of Will. So I'm going to keep the 1 for Test of Will. For Test of Will. Okay. Okay. So, in the staging area right now this is 4. Okay. And this is 6, 9. So I'm going to quest for 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to quest for 9, and then I can always use her ability to do. Now, the problem is that when revealed, the spiders gain surge. But that's not a spider. That's this. Okay. So that's 12 in the staging area, and I'm going to do 13. So that does 1 on this. So 1 progress on the current. Okay. So I'm going to now play Island Amid Perils again, and I'm going to bring Haldir back into my hand. That lowers my threat by 4, so I'm now down to 27. Okay, and then I'm going to play Olorien. And then play Haldir again. So, basically I'm paying to reduce my threat 1 for every threat I'm reducing. Now, if I wanted to, I could do it one more time, but I'm not going to this time around. So now we ready. Draw a card. There's another copy of Rumel. And so now I'm going to bring out the Minstrel. I'm still going to reduce its cost by 1 for Olorien, because I still want the 1 to be able to cancel. So let's get an event. Quicker Than Sight is good. The Tree People is good. So I'm going to put Tree People. And so now you get to see how this engine works here, I hope. I'm going to bring the Weaver back into my hand, and use Tree People, and hope for Legolas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I can bring the Sylvan Tracker out. Okay, so these guys don't exhaust, so that's 2, 4, 7, 8, 10, 12. So 12, and then I can always use Galadriel's ability. Okay. A Cursed Forest. I don't have any of that out. It says, while a Cursed Forest is in the staging area, when revealed, effects cannot be canceled. Okay, that's a bummer. Okay. So, how much is that? That's 4, 10, 12, 14. And so now I'm going to do this. So I I quested for 16 here. There was 14 in the staging area. This comes out here. Oh, is it 14? Let me double check here. 4, 10, 12, 16. So I'm neutral. Ugh, I should have sent everybody to the quest. I swear I need like late adventurer or something. Okay, and now while it's in the staging area, I can't cancel effects. Okay. I didn't have anybody else to really quest with, I guess. So. Okay, well, here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 4 here. I'm going to bring out Rumil. Even though Rumil doesn't do anything, I'm going to bring him out because I'm going to need the extra questing power. Okay, so now we ready, people? Elven King. Raise round. So now I have 2 and 3. 2. Okay. So I'm going to put Elven King onto Thranduil for 1. Then I'm going to play 1 here. To put the Weaver into play. Okay. So with the Weaver, I get to put this back into my hand. Tree people. Quest. I'm getting really location locked here. So I need to start trying. I'm just hopefully get some locations. So I'm going to quest for 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 14. 14. Okay, Treachery, run real. Until the end of phase, each non-objective location gets +1 threat, +2 if it has at least 1 progress token on it. If the number of non-objective locations in the staging area is less, so there is one, so I don't get the surge. So everything gets +1. Okay, so how much is out there? 4, 10, 12, 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, so that's 21. And I quested for 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 12, 14, 18. I really only can quest for 18. And so I still take a 3-point hit. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now I'm going to do some shenanigans, I think. So I'm going to play Island Amid Perils to bring this back into my hand and reduce my threat by 2. I just want this back into my hand is really what I'm trying to do. Okay. And now combat action is to bring this guy out and ready Galadriel. And now I'm going to exhaust her to draw my card and lower my threat by 1. So I get another silver tracker. Okay. Well. And I don't think I didn't pay for this, so that's 0. Draw. There's a tree people, so that's good. Okay, get 2, 3. So I have a whole bunch of resources, so that's good. Okay, so I'm going to tree people this guy back in my hand. No, I don't want to do that. Who do I want to tree people? Okay, I will tree people this guy back in my hand. And then let's see. Orphan, Galvan Archer, Legolas, Nath Guide. Okay. So I will bring Legolas back. Bring Legolas out. I'm going to Sword Thane him for 4. So that's 3, 4. I'm going to put Sword Thane on him. So now he's not an ally, so he doesn't get the +1. No, the ally entered play. He gets +1. He gets +1 till the end of the turn. Now I put this on there. So now I'm going to put this back out. And so now this is 1. Okay. No whammies. So that's 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 16. So there's 16. Okay. When revealed, each player discards all event cards in his hand. So, let's see. I only have 1 event card in my hand. That's this one, Test of Will. Okay, which is fine. Okay. So how much did I do? 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 16, and I'll boost for 20. There's 16 here. This gives me 2. This goes away. For Mirkwood, Mountains of Mirkwood, each player may search top 5 cards from 1 card and add it to his hand. Okay. So there's Galleon, Nath Guide, Galvan Archer, Minstrel. So I'm going to get the Nath Guide. That's going to help me quest a little more reasonably. Okay, so that means I still did 18. So that's 18. So now we will discard 2 cards. 1, 2. I still don't have anything. So I'm going to travel to here to get that 4th threat out of the staging area. Okay. So it says raise each player's threat by 1 for each resource here. So there should have been 2 there because I traveled through that. So the forced occurs at the end of the encounter phase, and so now I raise my threat by 2, so I'm at 31 threat. Whew. Hopefully that helps. Okay. I'm going to leave this out. Okay. I have yet to... So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Elven King. I can't use Elven King. Okay. I was going to use Elven King to bring this guy back into my hand, but I can't do that because it's on Thranduil, which is the problem with putting Elven King on Thranduil, is he may not be your quester. There's another copy of the Elven King. It goes right in the back there. Okay, so there's 2, 5, 1. Okay, I'm going to use 2. I'm going to bring out Nath Guide. So the Nath Guide I'm going to use on Celeborn. Then I'm going to use Olorien to bring out a Sylvan Tracker. Okay, so these are the guys that I just brought into play. Okay, so now, learn my lesson here. So, 1, 4. Oh, look, I forgot to put a resource. Where is a resource? Here's my resource. Resource here. Okay. So, 1, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 16, 18. I'm on quest for 18. And then I can use this to buff if I need to. Quest for 18. Okay. So, there's Black Forest Bats. Each player must choose one character he controls committed to the quest and remove that character from the quest. That's fine. Okay, so which one character? I'm going to remove this guy from the quest. So that's 18. I was at 18. I'm down to 17. And out here now is 1, 5, and 6 is 11, and 3 is 14. So now I'm up against 20. I quest for 22. I'm going to 22, 14. So that's 20. This goes back. This goes here. So now I'm going to discard 2 cards. 1, 2. I don't get. I don't get a location. Let's see. Or this location, the whatchamacallit location here. I'm going to put the accursed forest up there. I want to be able to cancel some effects. Okay. So now I'm going to bring this guy up. I'm going to use Thranduil's Elven King ability to ready to bring the Galadrim Weaver back into my hand. This guy's engaged. I'm going to deal it a shadow card. I'm going to defend with Thranduil. Shadow, it says attacking enemy gets +1. Okay. So Thranduil still defends successfully, and now I'm going to kill the Black Forest Bats with Legolas. This dies. I get to draw a card because of Legolas's ability, quicker than sight. Okay. This guy heals that damage because of the Silvan trackers. 2, 1, 6, 2. Okay, ready Haldan, draw a card. Another quicker than sight, raise my threat. Okay. So now I'm going to play the Minstrel. Okay, when I play the Minstrel, I get to take this, put this back into my deck. NBD. So right now I have 8 out in the staging area. Okay, so 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 13. 13. 16. Okay, so there's the one, there's a spider. So that spider, the first spider gets Surge. So now we have a Mirkwood patrol. So now the enemies are coming fast and furious. Okay, so 6, 12, 14. How much did I have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 14. So I did 14, so that's fine. So because I did 14, I'll use Galadriel's ability. I will exhaust this, and now I will travel to the dark black woods. I will discard. That is not an enemy. So now I have to do the when revealed effect of this. Okay, so I have to exhaust something. I will exhaust this. Okay. Now, I evened up. I don't have any. I have to find the other location, but I think I'm at the end here where I can do some good stuff. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to engage these two things. Okay. So I'm going to I'm going to optionally engage this. This one comes down. So if I optionally engage it, doesn't matter. Either way, they're both coming to me. So this is 1, 2. Now I have a combat action. I will exhaust Thranduil to defend the big spider here. Nothing. No shadow. That's Vastness of Mirkwood. So now I'm going to bring Rumil back into my hand to ready Thranduil. Now I'm going to attack this guy, or this guy's going to defend this guy for 5, and it says attacking enemy gets +1. So I'm going to use Quicker Than Sight to bring a Minstrel back to my hand because I want those cancellation effects. So I'm going to cancel that when revealed shadow effect. So he still does 5 damage. He defends for 3, and so 2 there. Okay. So now these guys are all defended, and so now I'm going to Lorien. Pay 3, bring Rumil out, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 ranged characters, so that does 5 damage to this thing. So I'll get the damage dice. That's 5. Okay, now I have to do some more attacking, if I can. Okay, I do have, so this guy, so here. Legolas and the Greenwood Archer will attack and kill this thing. I will draw a card because of that. Okay, there's another Minstrel. Then Rumil and Galadon Archer will attack and kill the Mirkwood Patrol. And that's that. Everybody's exhausted, but I was able to clean out the staging area and do a pretty good job there. So I'm going to increase my threat, increase the round. Ready, everybody. Okay, I get to draw a card. Vain Voices, that's nice. I'll spend the 1. I'm going to bring out a Minstrel. That allows me to search top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's weird. Okay, so Tree People is the only one I got. The only event I got. I have all my events right in here. I only have about 20 cards left here, and they're all right here. So it's wild. Okay. This happened to me one other time. I was looking for a specific event and never got it. Okay. So I'm going to tree people this back into my hand. Okay. Actually, you know what? We're at end game here, so I'm going to tree people this guy back in my hand. Okay. Now I get to look for something big. Orphan would be nice. Neath Guide is nice. Okay. So I think I'm going to bring Orphan out here. Now bring out a Neath Guide again. That same Neath Guide. So 1, 2, 3. These guys were all just brought into play this round. So I'm going to use the Neath Guide for this guy. So that's 3, 5, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Questing for 20. Okay, so there's a spider. Spider gains surge. So there's caught in a web. When revealed, highest threat level attaches the card to one of his heroes. Condition attachment says attached card is not ready during the refresh phase. So that's the funny thing, is that during the refresh phase, so I can use the Elven King to refresh, but not that. So it's good. So I quested for 20. There's 2, 4, 7, 10. So that goes away. So now I discard 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So this is a guarded location. So now I will discard cards until I find a location. There's a mountain of Mirkwood. Okay, so now what do we want to do? I'm going to now travel here. It says shuffle the discard pile back into the encounter deck. Add each, and then it says each player discards top card of the encounter deck. Add each location discarded. Okay, so I need to do this. So I do the travel effect. Okay, discard yellow on top. Discard. That's a location, Great Forest Web. We all know that. Okay. And then it says, after play, travel here, advance to the next stage A if possible. Okay. So again, next stage A. We're not going to the same numbered stage. We're going to the next stage A. So 3A. It says, when revealed, each player chooses a hero he controls. Discard each token and attachment from that hero and places it in the staging area. Each player discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded, and attached hero that enemy, and attaches the enemy to the hero in the staging area, guarding it. Okay, so I get to pick. I'm going to choose Thranduil, which seems like a weird option, but I'm going to get rid of that caught in the web by doing that. So these two get discarded. Caught in the web gets discarded. Thranduil gets put in the staging area. Let's see. Here. With... And then I discard until I find an enemy, right? And it attaches that enemy to it. Okay, so that enemy gets attached to it. Okay. Okay, so now, oh, this guy is attached here. Okay, so that's 3A. So now what's 3B? And it says, when an enemy guarding a hero is defeated, return that hero. When an enemy guarding a hero is defeated, return that hero to its owner's control, exhausted. Okay. So here, if we end up getting through it without rescuing Thranduil, we've left him behind and he ends up dead. I'm going to engage both of these guys anyways. So I'm going to engage this one and this one. Okay. After it engages me, it makes an attack, so I'm going to bring the Galadhrim Minstrel and defend it. No shadow, the Galadhrim Minstrel dies. So now we do the attacks. Okay. Or the defenses here. So I am going to defend with this Nath Guide here. Okay, Nath Guide defends. Nothing. Okay, the Nath Guide dies. Okay, and now I'm going to defend the 2 with Celeborn. No. Nothing. And so now I'm going to do 2, 4, 7, 9. I'm going to kill this guy. So now Thranduil's back here, exhausted. Okay. And I'm going to exhaust her to lower my threat by 1. So I'm 33. Play Tree People. Look, I can do Tree People. I'm going to bring the Weaver back into my hand. And then I'm going to look for... So I'm going to now... put the Weaver... Not put the Weaver out. I'm going to put the Nath Guide out. And now I can also bring out another thing. So I'm going to bring out this because Thranduil's back in play now. So I can bring out this. So I'll pay 1, and then I'll look for another event here. 1, 2, 3. I already know which event I want. I hope it's going to be a test of will because I want to be able to cancel stuff. So now these 2 can attack for 3. So that does 2 damage there. I don't have anything else I can do, so I'm going to get to draw a card. Look, it's another test of will, which is great. Okay, I'm going to put my two resources here, exhaust this, and get 2 more resources. So that means that this is 2. I get 1 on Legolas. So he's at 3. 2, and I have 4 on Celeborn. So now I'm going to... And then I'll play the Elven King. I'm going to play the Elven King on Celeborn. It's way better that way. Oh, not Orlorian. The Elven King. Celeborn. And then I'm going to put this guy down. This goes back into my hand. put Orphan over here in my range. So the 3 brothers are out. So that's 6, 8, 12, 15. So it says, when revealed, until the end of the phase, each non-objective location in the staging area gets +1, +2 instead if it has a progress token. None of my guys have progress tokens. It's not this kind of deck. And then it says, if less than the number of players, vastness of Mirkwood gains surge. Okay, so I have 1 in play. I have 2 in play, actually, so that doesn't gain surge. And I don't mind getting the +1 threat. So that's 3, 6, 9, 13, and I quested for 3. Oh man, I feel like I brought out this guy this round and this guy this round, right? No, brought this guy out for sure. So 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16. Quested for 16, and there is 9, 13 out there, so I'm going to use Galadriel to quest. So that's 17. How much is it again? 3, 5, 8, 10, 16. So I quested for 20. There's 13 out there. This gets cleared. Okay. And 13, that was 17, so I get to discard 3 cards. 1, 2, 3, because of the searching for a way out. Okay. Now, let's see. I'm going to travel here. To travel, reveal the top card of the encounter deck and add it to the staging area. So that's reveal and add. Okay. So that's a forced effect. That's fine. Now I'm going to engage this guy. So I have 2 things engaged with me now. Let's see. I'm trying to make room. Make room, Legolas. Okay. So this guy engages me. Let's see. So I will use... I can't use Feign Voices because it's a combat action. So I'll use this as 4. It defends for 3, I'm sorry. And, oh look, here's another... another objective location. That's wild. Okay, so he takes 1 damage. Okay, so now I have 1, 2 to worry about. I'm gonna ready Celeborn by bringing Rumiel back into my hand. Okay. Now I'm going to use combat action here, play Lorien. I'm going to use Legolas's resources. I'm going to bring Rumiel back into play, and I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage to this spider. Okay, which can take combat damage, which is fine. That's cool. Okay, that's good. Okay, now I have to defend here somehow. I'll defend with Celeborn. Attacking, it gets +1. Okay, so Celeborn takes a damage. It's 1 damage. And then I'm going to use this guy to kill him. It's done. Now we go here. Okay, tree people. That's good. Okay. Okay, draw a card. Galleon. Here's my ranged armada over here. Okay, so I'm going to bring Galleon into play. I'm going to do Feigned Voices, or I'm going to do Tree People to... So I'll bring this guy out, shuffle this back up, put Galleon back into play. So 3... Oh, these guys healed because of the Silvan Tracker. I have 2 Silvan Trackers. So there's 3. Here's 6. It's 9. And another 6 is 15. So there's 15. 18. Let's do 18. I'm going to have to pull this out here. Okay, so 18. I'm up against 2, 4, 7. Okay, so there's Old Forest Road. So that's 8. 18. So that means this guy is done. This goes back in the staging area. Okay, so I have a lot of things going on here. What did I do? So let's do this. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 8 up against 18. Boom. 10. But the mountains were 3, so I only discard 7. So these 3 go back here. Okay. I'm going to travel. Okay. Oh, wait. I have to put that location into play. Where is the location? Right here. I'll put that location into play. It's guarded by an enemy. Bah. So now that location is going to be guarded by a Golan spawn. Okay, so now I'm going to travel. And so to travel, I don't think it matters where I'm going to travel, because I'm hoping to get through this next. Oh no, I'm going to travel to here. Okay. So it says shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Seems familiar. That's what we do here. Okay. And then it says the encounter deck, each player discards the top card of the encounter deck, add each enemy. And it says after the players travel here, advance to the next stage C if possible. So again, we go from 3 to 4. See, it says when revealed, removed, searching. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Let's see. After players travel here, advanced. Now we add enemy. So no enemy discarded. Okay, so now it says remove, searching for a way out from the game. Okay, I'll put that over here. And then it says starting with the first player, each player discards cards until he discards an enemy and puts that into play engaged with him. Okay, there's an enemy that goes engaged with me. Okay, so that's 4C. Then that's 16. At the end of the round, raise each player's threat by 1 for each enemy engaged with him. Okay, and it says when this stage is defeated, stage cannot be while the player is engaged with an enemy. So I have to defeat all the enemies, and I have to... so I'm going to have to kill some stuff, which will be fine. Okay, so this is engaged with me. Okay, so this is going to then come down and be engaged with me. So now I'm going to deal shadow cards. Let's see. I'm going to defend this guy. Thranduil says I must choose and discard one attachment I control. Okay, I will choose and discard LOTR. Great. Okay, I could have canceled that, but now I'm going to feign voices. When I feign voices, this guy comes up into this, fizzles, and I'm going to bring Rumil back into my hand. Okay. So now I am going to these were exhausted, but this. So now I'm going to use Thranduil's combat action to put Rumil into play. Rumil comes into play for 4. So I go from 5 down to 1, and he does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. I'm going to do 6 damage to Ungoliant Spawn. Okay. And now I need to do 5 more damage here. So there's 3, 4, 5. So that kills Ungoliant Spawn. No victory, just gets discarded. Now I have to kill the 4 spider, so I'm going to use 3 on Legolas, 3 on Haldan. This, because I killed this comes back into my hand. I just happened to draw an LOTR. I had one in my hand. Okay. So, now everything ready. So let's draw a card Nenya, that's fine. Okay, I don't have any people to do anything with, so now here we go. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Oh, I forgot to give myself resources. So 5, 3. I'm only going to give myself 2 here. Then I'm going to put the Elven King. I can't get LOTR out. I can't get sloppy here at the end. That's one of the things that happens. So then there. So let's see here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 17, 18. Okay. 18, 19. Why not, right? Okay, so this comes out. So this is the Twilight Hall. Twilight Hall is this weird one that gets resources when it's there. So that's 19. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, 14. This goes in there. Okay, so I did 5. Okay, so this gets a resource token. So I did 5 to the current quest right now. But then I'm going to use Galadriel to add, so I'm at 9. Now this is where the game designers are really nice, because to choose either the Twilight Hall or something else, you want to get the Twilight Hall out of the whatchamacallit. So I'm gonna travel to the Twilight Hall, and I have to raise my threat by 1. Okay, now I'm readying everybody. Then we get to do it all again. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use Elven King to ready and bring Galleon back into my hand. Draw a card. I get another Haldir. That's not helpful. Haldir's not helpful, but let's do this. I have plenty of resources. I just don't have any more people to bring out. So I'll bring out Galleon. So he's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 17, 18, 19, so 21. Questing for 21 against 1, 3, 5, 8. 21 against 8. So reveal. Wow, Buckfast and Wood. Progress cannot place on each floor. So look at the staging area each round. Let's find travel. So that's okay. So now that's 3, 4, 6, 8, 11, 17. I did 21. That was 4, and then I'll do another 4. So that's 8. 9 and 8 is 17. I get through. Ugh. Whew, that was quite a slog. So this is one of my favorite scenarios so far. I love it. I love the feel of having to be able to go through the scenario and having to explore lots of locations and getting those enemies out there. This deck isn't necessarily built to deal with locations. It's not necessarily a location control deck, but it did an okay job. So there it is, into Mirkwood, or not into Mirkwood. Why do I keep saying that? Lost in Mirkwood, and join us again as we do another playthrough. Have a great day.
And if you're interested in finding this or any of our back episodes of Card Talk, feel free to search YouTube where you can find our flagship video episodes with the username Card Talk 2018. Or you can search the RSS feed cardtalk2018.libsyn.org for our extended audio versions of our podcast. Or you can find us on Facebook at Card Talk 2018. And if you have any questions for Grant or myself or for both of us, feel free to email us at cardtalk2018@gmail.com.